Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Please let me know right away if the volume is coming through okay. I've been having to play around with it. Last night on Friday Night Tights, I had to adjust it a little bit, and even listening back to it after I had made those adjustments, it still sounded a little bit low. I tried to add some more gain to the stream version of my microphone, so hopefully it's coming through okay, but I am still using my laptop. Unfortunately and sadly, I have some bad news, and that is that Heimdall, our good old bot, will be down for at least the next couple of streams because everything is saved. All your cookies, etc., are all saved on the other computer. So that should be set up right around Wednesday or so, because that's when my Wi-Fi card for that computer should be coming in, since I cannot hardline in like I normally did because the router cannot live in this room, sadly. So that is where we are going for now, and hopefully it will all work out well. The Wi-Fi is pretty good. Again, this laptop right here is going to be using Wi-Fi, so this is pretty much the first test using it on just Wi-Fi alone. I have everything set to the same settings. One bit of good news is the fact that I found out I was actually able to get my old dashboard back on Streamlabs, which means it has the full messages, which means I don't have to open yet another window to be able to have access to any super chats or donations that come in during the stream. So that's awesome news. But let's go ahead and dive into the chat. I know that we are going to be going up against world-class BSers tonight, and they have a person that is a former employee of Lucasfilm, and I can only imagine what they are going to be sharing. I know that Jeremy was invited to that. I think Gary was invited to that as well. So that should be a pretty hopping stream. So thank you all if you are choosing to watch this show tonight. I really do appreciate it. All right, jumping over to D-Live first. Phone Nemo is here. What's going on, Phone Nemo? Captain Dean High says, hello, everybody. Can hear you good. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Captain Dean Heiss. Phone Nemo says, volume is fine, but I'm on my phone, so that may make a difference for me. Thank you very much for letting me know that. All right, we got another Turkish bot in the chat. Fantastic. So now I need to, unfortunately, because now I'm using the... since I'm using the laptop, I don't have as many options, but yeah, we're going to ban that sticker because I don't have patience for that. I don't have patience for that, and then you're going away. Goodbye. Patui, I spit on you. All right, let us see here. Captain High says, audio video not synced though. Yeah, sadly, there is not much I can do about that. That has a lot to do probably with everything going on with the processing, so sorry if that is not currently up to snuff. Captain Mr. Peabody, what is going on, good sir? Glad to see you over in the D-Live fan. Let me jump back over to YouTube. Smaller screen means smaller windows, which makes everything much more complicated. But anyway, let me get a shout out first to Father Christopher Miller. Hail to you, Father. He says, wow, I'm first. Yes, indeed, you were first today. Tina B is in the chat. My Valkyrie, how's it going? G-Monkey76 is here. Peter Han is here. Josue Vagia is here. Tina Bojan, what's going on? So it's pronounced like Trojan, but instead it's Bojan. So Tina Bojan, newest Patreon member. So thank you very much, Tina, for doing that. Let's see. Gigabus Prime is in the chat. Stream Elements is here. Zacharat315. Slicer Neons is here. Member Nitrium is here. Member Laura Story is here as well. How are you all doing? Hologram Nunchuck is in the chat. Mark Lazert's here as well. Slicer Neons. Member Nano Reaper says, Happy Lord's Day for those of us on the other side of the pond. Yes, indeed. Blessed Sunday to you. Let's see. Muriam Tokunbo, what's going on? Glad to see you back once again. Member Laura Story says, World Class Bastards is doing an interview with a former Lucasfilm employee right now, so it might be a light crowd, and that's pretty much what I expected. Stephanie B is here, and thank you for letting them know. Once again, Heimdall is going to be on vacation for the next couple of streams because he lives and all of his data and all of his brains exist on my other computer. Member Alex McCarthy says, howdy Odin, how's it going? How's the new house? New house is going great so far. Obviously moving sucks. Getting all of the stuff from one place to the other is just a pain. We have movers coming to help us on Monday to try and move the big furniture items, and luckily we have rent over at the other place until the end of the month, so we still have a few days even after that if there are still smaller items that are left over, but Monday should be when we make a full transition transition to this place to be able to actually start sleeping here. Because even though the Wi-Fi lives here, our bed is living, of course, in the old house because we can't move that on our own. So the new house, though, very cool. I love it because it was set up originally as a 2-apartment Airbnb, which means that both the upstairs and downstairs have full kitchens. So there's a dishwasher down here. There is a refrigerator down here as well. Literally a kitchen, which is actually was a really good place because there's this little movable island that I was able to use to help work on my PC, which is now mostly dust free. I did the very best that I could with some canned air. I have fans in different positions, which should help with the airflow. And recently today, I decided to buy a larger fan that also came with some extra goodies to help with various things. So everything should be going very well on the OG PC. But thank you for asking, good sir. Greta Zenner, what's going on, Greta? How is it going? Member Nana Reaper says, volume is fine. Thank you. Gigabus Prime, hail Ethan Supli, JK. Orange Chat Reviews, volume is good. Thank you, Mudiam says the same. Cool, so it sounds like everyone is having a good time with that volume. Tina says, I turned it up to 30 on my TV, so I'm good. Yeah, 30 should be a pretty good number. If it's coming through fine at 30, that should be fine. Glowing to Hobbit says, nice house. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Laura Story says, good sounds so far. Good sounds so far? Sounds good so far? That was fun. Zakarot says, hello. Hello. Yes, R.I.P. Heimdall. I feel really bad for Heimdall. I wish that Heimdall could be portable, but unfortunately, you have to essentially upload the data to the cloud and then re-download it. But then I've had issues with that in the past. So I just don't feel like it's worth looking further into. Let's go ahead and dive back into the D-Lab for a second. This is going to be a pain because there is like very little room to work with on either side of it. So let us see. Becky Boo Boo, what's going on? D-Lab fam. Captain Adam Frank and the Clan is over there in the chat as well. How is it going? Captain Peabody says, Odin moves islands. Do I really, though? Do I really have that power? What's going on, Captain Adam? Glad to see you here. Glowing to Hobbit, don't check for those cookies, because Heimdall's not working. Heimdall is going to be asleep for the next couple of streams. And I am very sorry about that. I wish I could do something about it, but sadly, I can't. I don't have the power. I wish I did, but I don't. Alrighty, here, let's go ahead and see what's going on in the YouTube chats. Alright, gotta fly back up here because the chat skipped and jumped on me once again. Darth Moral says, good evening, Odin. A woke university lecturer at Oxford Uni hopes that the UK does not develop the vaccine as it would be a sign of British excellence. These people are insane. That is absolutely bonkers. For someone to say, I don't want a vaccine to be developed, I don't want people to be okay, I don't want there to be a way to stop the spread of this thing, is a sick thing for anyone to say. And I'm not a part of cancel culture, but let me just put it this way. If a university professor is telling that to students, that professor probably should not be working there anymore, because that is a dangerous thing to be teaching young, impressionable minds, especially in today's world. Glowing to Hobbit says, your thoughts on Florida mall owner suing AMC for back rent? That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's insane. You know, obviously you can understand it because what's the mall owner supposed to do, right? I think that the only thing he really can do is to apply for a loan from the federal government, which, based on everything I know about it, seems like it would be something that would be possible because obviously we have billions upon billions of dollars becoming available for a wide variety of businesses and industries. So it seems to me that that's where the person should be going. AMC really can't pay their rent right now. You know, AMC could also go through the process of getting money from the feds, but they were already in financial trouble in the first place. So yeah, it's a difficult thing because I think that both sides have a point. I think both sides have a stand. But at the same time, now is not the time to be suing a company for not paying you rent when they aren't open. They literally have no source of income to be able to pay. any rent whatsoever. So it sounds like both sides need to go to see if they can get a loan from the feds. Kevin the Speedster is in the chat. What's going on? Laura Story says, sorry for the retracted messages. I'm so tired. No problem at all, Laura. Trust me. I know we were moving stuff for a few hours today, and even then it was just crazy. Nitrium says, watched The Platform 2019 this morning on Netflix. Was a pretty interesting concept Spanish horror film. Features cannibalism, so not for everyone. Also, the ending is a little unsatisfying. Awesome, Nitrium. So that is The Platform from 2019 on Netflix that he's talking about there. So was it that the ending was just out of nowhere? It was just a major letdown? It just, you felt like you were going somewhere and then you find out that you didn't go anywhere at all? Tell me. Going to Hobbit says, your thoughts on AMC not reopening until Tenet and Mulan releases? Well, I mean, that's pretty much what they were already going to be doing. If you go back to when they originally closed, they said, what was it, 6 to 12 weeks or 9 to 12 weeks, which would put it right into June, July territory. So they were already looking at that. You already have Cinemark having come out to say that they're not going to start to reopen until July 1st. So it just makes a lot of sense because Tenet is that mid-July opener. So since Nolan is very clear, I'm not moving this movie, like come hell or high water, I'm having this movie released in theaters, whether there's theaters or not. I think that that is going to probably push a lot of theater chains to say, well, okay, guess we're opening in July. So for AMC to not to reopen until then makes some sense to me. However, I would not be surprised if AMC reopens some theaters before Tenet's release just to try and get people to start coming back a little bit, start to throw some of those library titles that they still have in their servers, films that came out previous to the pandemic, movies that came out even beforehand that they might still have the digital file for. They just need the keys emailed over from the studios to be able to show those movies again. So I think that would be the smart thing to do, because if you're just going to reopen all your theaters on that weekend, I don't know if that's going to be the best idea. If it was me, I would be like Cinemark and say, let's start the process July 1st and then go from there. So those are my thoughts. Tina, thank you for letting them know. If you have a comment or question on YouTube, type Odin question, all one word, Odin question, and I will be able to see your message. It'll highlight orange on my screen, and especially today when the chats are very, very small because I'm dealing with a laptop screen instead of my larger screen. Becky Boo Boo is on both of the streams, so that's crazy. All right, let's see. Phone Nemo says, that isn't a professor or a scientist. Wait, what? Captain Peabody, I mean, if you're talking about saying that, yeah, it's not, wait, but it's a, I thought you said it was, I thought someone said it was a professor. Captain Peabody says, the new house is good, but we need a ceiling fan so we all feel at home. Yeah, I remember, remember when you were sending me, like, tape and fishing line so that I could put one of the action figures you sent me onto it so it could spin around. Yeah, sadly, this room, the one thing this room is lacking is a fan, but it's a room that probably will not need a fan because I'm technically downstairs and on the right side of me, basically going up is the driveway, which means there's essentially dirt and mud on this side, which will help keep this downstairs area, at least especially my room, a little bit cooler than the rest of the house, which is great for me because I like the cold. And so hopefully during the summer, that means we won't have to be cracking the AC down here as much because, as I said, since it was 2 apartments, there's 2 AC units, one for the upstairs, one for the downstairs. And so if I don't have to keep that on all the time, that would be great because right now I'm feeling quite comfortable and there is no AC on. So it's very, very nice. Phonemo over on DLive says, no real professor or scientist would say something like that in my mind. No. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, so if this person who is a professor at a university is saying this, then they really shouldn't be called a professor. And as I said, I'm not for cancel culture, but I don't think that you should be teaching at a university if that's the kind of stuff that you're teaching, because that is dangerous talk. If people, kids especially, are going to come out of there saying, yeah, let's not work towards a vaccine. That's a little bit problematic, right? So there's free speech, but then there's also speech that could potentially be dangerous. I feel like that's on the line, right? I think that you could argue both sides of it. I think it's on the line. So I'm not one way or the other, like, tremendously. Like, I wouldn't say that he should be, arrested or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if the university had any shred of dignity, they would say, yeah, you're done here. I wouldn't want a professor teaching like that. Captain Peabody says, where is my room? So when you come to visit, it's going to be over on that side because there are 2 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs. The room down here is my office. And then, of course, the guest room is the other. All right, let me jump back over into the YouTube world. Let's see. Laura Story says, very sad the local drive-in theater isn't open, but the one in Sacramento is open. If the state doesn't reopen soon, I'm going there for a movie. Well, damn, how? Because again, I forget exactly what part of the state that you're in comparison to Sacramento. So I'm imagining that by you saying that it's a long, that it would be a long drive. But yeah, I feel you on that because I'm almost feeling the same way because I just found out talking to the person that was actually installing my internet because we were talking about, I told him that I did a YouTube channel because I was trying to get the router in here. And he said that it just couldn't be done, that I would need to get like an electrician and spend like $300 plus to get to get an actual port in here to connect it to. And he's like, by that point, your Wi-Fi will probably have been doing just as good of a job, or you could find another means like a mesh network or something to that effect that would actually be doing just as well. But anyway, he mentioned that there was a drive-in actually in my area. I think it's about like 10 plus miles away. So again, easily drivable. But yeah, the website from what I saw didn't have any active movies on there. So I'm wondering if it's open, and if it is open, if they're just not really promoting as much because of limitations, because they probably, my city especially has been very stringent. In fact, the mayor of my city is being sued by at least one church because the mayor shut down, or at least the cops shut down, a drive-in church service. And let's just be honest here, a drive-in church service is not dangerous to anyone because everyone's in their car listening on the radio with their windows up because that's how innovative. It's amazing to me that Protestant denominations have been more innovative with technology during this time than the Catholic Church has. While the Catholic Church and the bishops of the church, especially in the U.S., have been shutting down masses and shutting things down and not innovating, the Protestants have been doing an amazing job. Again, having drive-in services, being able to actually get on an FM frequency. It's absolutely insane that that's what's going on right now. But yeah, I mean, I would love to go to a drive-in, so I'll have to do some more research on the one that's near me. Gibbs Prime says, make sure your new house isn't haunted. All right. Well, I was here last night by myself for a little bit doing some, what was I? I was working on the PC. And so that was probably the best time for a haunting to take place. So far, so good. At least at this point. Let us see. Where are we? Bruce says, hello, Odin. What's going on, Bruce? Nathan Slade, nice place you got there. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully, it'll look even better once everything is set up. Justin Proper says, we hear you. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. All right, let's see. Soul Assassin says, my volume only goes to 11. Oh, damn. Well, I hope that you're not having to listen to me on 11, because that would not be good. Gigamus Prime says, make Thor a bot. Thor is my favorite Norse god. Orange Chat Reviews, there is a spider in your wall. Don't you say that. I don't like spiders. Bruce says, one of our cats ran out of the door at 1 p.m. Eastern. He's still not back, and it's a rainy day here. Wife is beside herself. She let him out and didn't know it for an hour. Oh, no. Well, I hope your cat's okay. Yeah, it was rainy here for a bit as well. Luckily, all that stuff has been passing through, and it should be dry tomorrow. And then, there's a couple other days this week where it should be dry, which will be perfect for moving. But, oh my goodness, I hope your cat is okay. Please keep us updated. And again, hope everything happens. All right, the chat just jumped on me like it normally does. I would check to see how many people are here, but the bots are down, so I really can't at this point. And if you're new to the chat, that's something that happens. I fall behind. I usually fall about 20 minutes behind or so, and it's crazy. It's very, very, very crazy. All right, let's go ahead and see where we are. Slicer Neon says, I decided to punish my emotions by watching Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and Joker back to back. I don't know what to feel. Yeah, both very good films. Nitrium. Member Nitrium says, Mahler's live stream is shadow banned again. He's streaming right now, but is not on the sub feed. Do you have problems with shadow banning by YouTube Odin? It's hard to say. there's a very good chance that it's possible, but I haven't had a lot of people contact me saying they didn't know I was streaming. And I think because I stream on such a regular schedule, if I am being shadow banned, it's having very little impact on the people that are normally here, because they're like, oh, it's 7 p.m. Eastern. That's when Odin normally streams, on Saturdays and on Tuesdays. So I think that's what's helping me from any of that. But it's definitely possible that that is the case. That might be the reason why we have been stuck at the numbers that we've been stuck at. Again, I like the numbers, because to me, it's the quality of the people here, not the quantity. But at the same time, I think that there's definitely a possibility, and that might explain why the numbers are the way that they are, because, again, we have a lot of subs here on this channel, but usually it's between 50 and 100 people that actually watch the stream. So very well could be the case. I don't really know what to, do about it overall. All right, let me jump back over into the D-Live fam for a second. Captain High says, is this going to be the real vantage point for your videos, or is it temporary? 2 spots on either side of your head for your disc plates. Yeah, so it's going to change a little bit, and the only way it's going to change is that my camera is going to be up higher, because right now it's on my laptop, and it'll be on my actual screen, which is a little bit taller than what my laptop is. So it'll be straight. Rather, it'll be taller and it'll be straight on. But yeah, so I could put a disc plate in this area, and I could put a disc plate in this area. In fact, I could probably even put 2 small ones in actually, I could probably put one on this wall, and also over here as well. So there's a lot of spaces for me to put some disc plates up. So that'll be fun, since now I actually have a house that we own, to actually start to play around with that and to, fancy it up a little bit with some more posters. That'll be fun. Let's see. Captain Frank and the Clan says, it is Doodle's 12th birthday today, and I know you want to sing to my wiener dog, Doodles. No, not right now. But happy birthday to Doodles. Captain High says, volume goes to 11, Spinal Tap reference. You see, I've only seen Spinal Tap, I think, once all the way through, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. Captain Peabody says, spiders are good. They take care of the other critters. Yes, outside, not inside. Phonemo says, there's a spider? Burn the house down. It is the only way to make sure the spider is dead. No, because they'll run away, and they'll survive it somehow. Captain Peabody says, the only way to kill spider is the way they wanted to do it in Aliens. Take off and nuke them from orbit. Yes. Yes. Captain Adam, Frank and the Clan, a lot of people are streaming right now. I imagine that they would be, because there's not a whole lot to do right now in the current climate. Current climate? I'm talking like this now? Current climate? Whoa, what's going on? I don't know where I am right now. Nathan Slay says, I promise I won't be obnoxious this time. Would you say that the movie Shark Tale is a guilty pleasure movie? I know it is for me. I've actually never even seen Shark Tale, so I couldn't say one way or the other. Tina says, EFAB was doing a critique of CinemaSins mocking Joker. CinemaSins is even more useless than I realized. The things CinemaSins came up with as a sin was pathetic and reaching. Well, for me, I guess it's kind of hard, because I feel like CinemaSins is usually doing it for the trolls. I feel like there's some movies where it's very universally seen as a bad movie, and so it's just them pointing out the obvious and even extra things that you didn't notice before. But I think that when it does it for films that are seen as good, because they do it for all movies, last time I checked, which would include films that are universally loved and films that are universally hated. But I could be wrong on that. Or Chat Reviews, did you hear that Alinity had an oopsie with her wardrobe? I did. I know that some people were talking about that on Twitter. I know that that Star Wars girl actually had even posted the video. It's interesting to me, because to me it looked like it was clearly a mistake. But at the same time, there are 2 times now that she has violated the terms of condition for that. And so I think that that's something that Twitch needs to start actually cracking down on. If they're going to have terms of service, but they're only going to crack down on people that most likely are not as popular, my guess would be that they'll go after smaller channels. But when it comes to channels like Alinity, where the only people they're watching are, in my opinion, sick people who are just trying to, who want to watch a pretty girl, which again, if that's what they want to do, okay. But I just don't understand why they're protecting someone that, in my mind, doesn't really add anything to any discussion. But again, that's just my opinion. What would I know? Let's us see here. Gigamus Prime says, have you ever seen the Canadian CGI series Reboot? I think I have. Yes, Reboot. Was that like late 90s, early 2000s CGI? And did it come on Cartoon Network? Because if it did, then yes. And from what I remember, I liked it. However, in retrospect, and even at the time, I think that CGI was pretty atrocious. Glowing the Hobbit says, your thoughts on Florence Pugh, Shia LaBeouf, and Chris Pine starring in Olivia Wilde's thriller Don't Worry, Darling. That's an amazing cast. I don't really know if Olivia Wilde's going to be able... I'm assuming that she's a director on the film, maybe a writer even too. So again, I for the most part like Olivia Wilde, have no real issues with her. Florence Pugh is a fantastic young actress. Shia LaBeouf is really coming into his own once again, right? I feel like his movies lately have just been amazing. If no one's ever seen The Peanut Butter Falcon, it is fantastic, and Shia LaBeouf is one of the best parts of it. And Chris Pine's a good actor too, so I think that sounds like a pretty good film. I have not seen the trailer. If there is one, I haven't seen a poster. I don't know much about the plot. So all of those things are going to be much more important to determining the film being good because it's already got a good cast. As long as they can get all those other things, it should be okay. HyperNex13, hello my brother, hope you and the fam are doing well. I've been fasting for Ramadan along with my mom. Just wanted to share something positive in these times. May God bless you all. Hashtag Asgard. Well, God bless you, good sir. Blessed Ramadan to you. And I hope everything is going well. Yeah, as a Catholic, we obviously have days of fasting as well. And we used to have a lot more, but it is something that I think really does bring us to a greater appreciation for the things that we have in this life for sure. So God bless you, good sir. Thank you for sharing that with us. Laura says, hey, Becky Boo Boo. Nitrium says, regarding the platform, thank you for that context, Nitrium. You have no idea how much that helps. So for Nitrium, he says, the ending, not to spoil it, didn't really answer the core questions or premise set up for the rest of the film. Overall, the film is worth watching, though, just for the concept. 7 out of 10. Well, very cool. Might have to check that out. I can't believe that Summer, the random thought of the day since he was talking about that, because I was like, oh man, when summer hits, I have a lot more time to actually watch a lot of movies. You would think I'd have more time now, but I'm also working still during the week with school, and we actually only have like a few weeks left of school because of the way things have worked out. It's pretty insane. Let's see. Gigas Prime says, do you think Russell Crowe is depressed these days since lockdown prevents him from farting around the world? I get that South Park reference. And yes, I do. However, he's probably out around the world fighting the pandemic. Let's just be honest here. Father Christopher Miller says, just plus BV. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, Father. HyperNex13, also congrats on the new house. Happy for you guys. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We're very excited for the house. I think we're most excited that we'll just be able to actually settle. My Blu-rays have been packed up for months now since we moved here because I was like, okay, well, eventually we're going to move. I'd rather not unpack them and then repack them. And obviously I went through them all again because I digitized my entire collection. But it'll be nice to actually be able to get those back on the shelf, get them in order. Might have to figure out maybe to get a new shelf because I don't have enough space for the movies that I do have since I have so many now. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I have a lot of just random boxes on both sides of me that you can't see. And it's gonna be fun to get all that stuff set up and in a pretty much a permanent fixture or a semi-permanent fixture. Obviously, everything can change every now and then in the office. Bruce says, you'll do something about the window behind you in your position. The framing of it behind you is odd. So there's no window. It's a, see that? So it's actually, I could close it. It's a mirrored closet. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I think we might put curtains up because it's going to be weird if you can see behind me and it's the mirror, etc. But anyway, that's what's going on behind me. So either the doors will be closed once everything is fully set up, or there will be curtains over it. Selected Neon says, I heard she was in the Department of Women and Gender Studies. That doesn't count in my book. It's disgusting to prefer that people die because you hate your own country and people I call treason. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting for someone that calls themselves a professor to not want a vaccine to come out because of so-called, oh, I don't want British people to think they're better than everyone else. It's like, I'm sorry, that's sick and disgusting. And I agree. If that's what her degree was in and that's what her specialty is, then she's not really a college professor. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy that. You know, unless she's teaching other classes that deal with real subject matter, then yeah, that is not a real occupation or job. And it's people like that we should not be paying for college-wise. So no federal dollars should go to support someone's education if their purpose or their desire is to pursue so-called quote-unquote gender studies, etc. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars and also just a waste of time. Tina says, context, Russell Crowe fighting around the world. I'd just like to see him get a decent role again. He's not even getting good character roles these days. Yeah, it is really sad. Hopefully one day he'll be able to get it all together. But I feel like a lot of actors go through various periods in their career. Hopefully this is just a random downspurn and he'll be able to come back. Frank in the Clan says, arf, arf, good, you have room for me and the clan to visit. No one has room for the entire Frank and the Wiener Dog clan to visit. All right, let me jump back over to DLav fam. Let's see. Jakester 2020, what's going on? Thank you very much for following. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Captain Dean Heiss says, Captain Dean Heiss, thank you very much for the 3 ice cream donations. I appreciate that very much so. Captain Adam Frank and the Clan, thank you for the 10 lemon donations. Captain High says, is TyLabs a DLive bot? Never seen him here before. I think I did set up a TyLabs bot that was supposed to work and just never did. So I don't know what happened to trigger him, but yes, I believe I did. Doesn't seem like he wouldn't be. Let's see. Captain Adam says, can't watch movies. I have a movie vlog to run. Exactly. Captain Peabody says, when they made that room, did they not have a set square? You have some funky angles happening in there. I think it looks funkier because of the way the camera is angled. But it could be weird. I don't know anything about design. All right. Let me jump back over into YouTube. Let's see. Laura Story says, Sacramento is only an hour and a half for me. The drive in there is showing E.T. and Jurassic Park double feature. That is awesome. And I bet that you're not really paying all that much for it either. The popcorn and drinks and stuff like that they might be selling probably are not that expensive right now either. That sounds like a good time. Yeah, I would say that's worth an hour and a half drive. As I've mentioned previously, I've never been to a drive-in before. So now that I know there's one that's actually within drivable distance of me, I'm definitely during this time period going to have to see what movies are being shown and how I might be able to get out there. Father Christian Miller says, not innovate enough. I'm doing the best I can. I'm just one priest. Well, again, live streams are great, Father. I agree with that. I put it more, as I said, I put it more on the bishops than I do the priest, because the priests are basically limited by what their bishops allow for. Because I feel like if the bishop said, hey, priest, I want y'all to offer drive-in services, right? Or I want you to, offer this or offer that, right? To be more innovative. Like there have been priests that have been offering, parking lot masses, for instance. And in larger parishes, I think that that's absolutely something that is possible to do. What would be even better, of course, is if the bishops agreed with something that I thought was universally accepted, which is that the sacraments are essential, that priests are essential, that we should never have shut down churches or the sacraments. That's, of course, something that I've already gotten on my soapbox enough of lately. As someone's license plate had on, or sticker on the back of it, all workers are essential. And you know what? I agree. I agree with that sentiment because we all have a right to work. HyperNex13 says, Odin's beautiful beard. Well, thank you. Nana Reaper says that the professor doesn't want the UK to find the cure because it will promote British nationalism and rekindle Britain's desire to rule the world. Yeah, no, it's not, because we don't live in that time anymore. And so we don't live in a time of conquest. Unless you're in places like Russia or China, you're really not actively, or some countries in the Middle East, you're not really pursuing to take over countries. You're not really, sending troops to try and take over and claim countries for your own. That time has passed for the Western modernized world, developed world. So yeah, I don't understand why that person is being so idiotic. Also, I think there's someone that's been like posting the same comment several times, but if you're new to the channel, you got to type Odin question, all one word. Don't spam. If you spam comments, I'm not going to read it. If you spam, I'm not going to read it. So type Odin question, all one word, and then it'll highlight on my screen so that way I know you're trying to get my attention, and don't spam. Also, no, I fall 10 to 20 minutes behind in the chat. So if I don't read your comment right away, it's because I haven't gotten to it yet. So just a fun fact of the day. Just a fun fact of the day, my friends. All righty here. Let's see. The chat jumped on me like it always does because, you know, that's just life. But let's see. Where did we leave off? Where did we leave off? All right, Gigabytes Prime says, the UK professor isn't a scientist. He's a mad scientist for his twisted comments that are so messed up, he makes Dr. Evil cringe. Well, it sounds like it's a female professor of so-called gender studies. So, not even really a professor. Nana Reaper says, 43 Odin. 43? 43? JJ's in the chat. What's going on, JJ? Thank you for being so patient with me, helping me with my PC. Glowing the Hobbit says, best movie for new home owners is Beetlejuice. Ooh, that is a good one. Thank you. Now I get it. So Nana Reaper, thank you very much. 43 people watching is what you meant. As I said, that's why I always need context. Frank and the Clan, thanks for letting me know as well. Y'all are awesome. Glowing the Hobbit says, a good movie about new people moving in the neighborhood is The Burbs starring Tom Hanks. Glowing the Hobbit, I love The Burbs. The Burbs is such a great movie. My favorite line in it is, "Beat a dude!" Love it. So good. Bruce says, I checked about 6:45 p.m. and I didn't see you were going to live stream. Came back at 7:05 p.m. and saw the notice. Well, to be fair, I think by 6:45, the event had not been set up yet. I did set it up really late today. That's why actually Father was the first person in the chat. And it's because he knew that I was going live at 7, and so he was already ready. So that's probably the reason why. I doubt it was, again, I don't know if I'm being shadow banned or not, but Nathan Slay, why do I feel like Iron Man is underrated? I feel like people kind of sleep on the movie instead, like watching Black Panther. I wouldn't agree with that second point about people would rather watch Black Panther, especially when it comes to this channel's community, because I think most of us are in agreement that Black Panther is a fine film, but it's a B- movie at best. You know, like, it's got some good elements to it. I think that Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa is fantastic, but the CGI in that movie is trash. The CGI in that movie is terrible. And no, Iron Man, I do think sometimes is underrated in comparison to films like Infinity War and more modern major hits. Because, yeah, I think that you're right on that point, but maybe not in comparison to Black Panther. Iron Man is fantastic. The Paramount days of Marvel have actually some of the best films to come out of the MCU overall. Greta Zenner says, are you going to deck out your office walls with movie posters? If so, which ones? Great question, Greta. Hope everything is going fine down in New Orleans. And yes, that was always my plan when I actually had my own place that we weren't just renting and I could actually put some stuff up. I have some giant posters. So I have Casablanca is going to be one of the large posters I have up. I believe Nightcrawler is another one of the large posters I have. So that one will get a prominent place as well. I have Back to the Future. That's going to have a prominent place. Of course, I have my Alita Battle Angel poster and my John Wick poster. So those will also be up just like they were at the old office. And yeah, so those are the only ones I have thought of right now. Also, Orange Hat Reviews sent me a poster of the Joker. So that one's probably going to go up as well. Though I'm trying to find out the best way to possibly get those protected in some way, whether it's in a actual movie poster frame or not. I don't know yet. So, but thank you. Good question, Greta. Thank you. Gigabytes Prime, it isn't the quality of subs, it's the quality of subs. No, he said, it isn't the quantity of subs, it's the quality of subs. Absolutely right, Gigabytes Prime. You're absolutely right about that. Father Christian Miller says, I'm glad they specify that Doodles is a dog. Yes, that's important. Soul Assassin, look at all the space for more activities. It seems like there's more space, but there actually really isn't a lot of space. It's actually smaller than my other office. when all the, when the bookshelves and things like that are actually in here. It might seem like there's more space, but there actually isn't. John Fliginger, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that, John. He says, I have 10 disc plates you can have for that bare wall. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it. I do actually have about 5 disc plates. They just haven't been put up yet because we're still in the process of moving things over to the new place. But thank you for that super chat, man. I appreciate it. And John, I actually found there is a way to get the old basically feed back, where it gives you the entire message that's being sent, and it's not the new updated one in Streamlabs OBS. So I might have to help you figure that out later. But there is a way to get the old one back, and I love it because it's just so much better, I think, personally. But thank you, man. I appreciate that. Smooth Jam California says, isn't it funny that the trailer to Scoob literally opens up with them in a movie theater, yet now the movie itself won't even be in cinemas? I just realized that today. That's actually a very good point. Yeah, looking back at that trailer especially, yeah, there's definitely a comedic element to it now, because you say, oh, it was trying to get into you're watching this in a movie theater. But theaters are now closed and have been closed now for several weeks. And so, yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. Gloin Hobbit says, another good movie for new homeowners. It's Pet Sematary, the 1989 version. No, thank you. No, thank you. Too creepy for me. Gigamus Prime. Spiders are good. They deal with goblins, rhinos, scorpions, vultures, and venomous aliens. I see what you did there, Gigamus Prime. Tina says, one of the cinema sins was Joker climbing the stairs numerous times, the actress they hired to play his mother, and them filming in actual locations, among others. They went after the actress? That's not cool. I think that she did a fine job in that film. I don't know what they could really have gone after her for. That's when it comes down to where you're really just nitpicking at that point. Giga's Prime, who is worse in terms of misdeeds, Jussie Smollett or Amber Heard? Amber Heard, only because she physically assaulted somebody. I think that Jussie Smollett is also not a very good person either. I mean, the dude lied about an assault that was supposedly racially charged at a time in our country when we have never been so much more divided. So I think that his action easily could have, I mean, I don't know if a lot of research has been done into it, but I'm wondering how many acts of violence were inspired because of that, in reaction to that, saying, oh, that's how they're treating us still. Oh, we're going to come back. Like, you kind of wonder about what kind of reactions that originally and initially had, where people thought that a hate crime had, taken place in that way. And then, of course, once everything started to fall apart and you realize the dude just made it all up because his contract was likely not going to be renewed for the TV show he was a part of, it's sad. It's sad and depressing. The dude deserves to be served justice, and Amber Heard does too. But I think Amber Heard's is worse because she physically assaulted someone. I don't care if it's a guy. I don't care the fact that it's Johnny Depp that she assaulted, but assault is never okay. Period. Sasha Neon says, I prefer Beast Wars to Reboot, but I appreciate both of them for being pioneers in good CG animation. Later seasons of Reboot were really good, and avoid the Netflix knockoff like the plague. I didn't even know that they remade Reboot. That's sad. Yeah, don't remake that. Don't remake classic TV shows unless you're going to do it right. Beast Wars was pretty good, from what I can remember. Gigamus Prime, yes, Reboot was on Cartoon Network, and how dare you insult its animation? It was the first CGI animated show ever. JK, to be serious, Reboot is the whole reason Clone Wars is a show. Oh, no. I'm not going to deny that the CGI was groundbreaking for the time, since it was one of the first fully CG shows. Doesn't make it any good. CG-wise. I actually thought the show was actually pretty good. Father Christian Miller says, just plus BB? I don't know either. Might have been when I switched computers. Father, context father. So calling you context father, or rather the contextless father, because you never provide it. You never provide it. All right, let me jump back over into my DLav community. Let's see. Cat Peabody says, are we gonna repaint this room? Can we take a vote? Most likely not, because there's a basic theme that the whole house has. Plus, that would just require, especially once everything is up and in here, well, that would require way too much work. I'm far too lazy. I do have a green screen that was sent to me as a gift several months ago that I have not been able to use because there was not a really good way to set it up. And I didn't have enough lights to light it up to have it to work. So that could be something to change the background in the future. And I'd rather play around with that and get some really funky backgrounds going than repaint the entire house. That's just me, though. That's just me. Captain Peabody says, when they made that room, did they not have a... Okay, got that one already. Why did it go back up? Phonemo says, glow-in-the-dark colors? Wouldn't that be interesting? Captain Dean High says, Odin is already 20 minutes behind in the chats before it even starts. This is a true statement. I always fall behind. Captain Peabody says, we could donate so you can paint the room, and then you could live stream Odin's painting blog. Yeah, last time we tried something like that, it didn't work out. It did not work out very well. Let's see. Abs BSBS. What's going on? Thank you for the follow. And also thank you for the lemon donation as well. I appreciate it. All right. Jumping back over into the YouTube chat. Geekimus Prime says, Russell Crowe, we couldn't find that beer bug, but we found it a man with beer bug. Take that beer bug and that. I love that. I love that episode of South Park so much. Hypernex13, have you seen the Korean zombie movie Train to Busan? It's getting a sequel called Peninsula, and it looks pretty cool. Looks a lot more action-oriented and post-apocalyptic. No, I've actually never seen it or even heard of it. Nathan Slay says, once upon a time, there was a guy named John. He had his superpowers that made him run really fast. People called him John Quick. Cobra Viber 999, is the Alita poster going up behind you? Most likely. Probably to create some sense of consistency, but it's really going to depend on when all that stuff is set up and etc. Bruce says, context, the non-door behind you. Oh, I see. Yes. So sorry if that was triggering anyone previously. Jace Doe, who is a member on the channel, what's going on, good sir? He says, yo, Odin, dude, might I recommend Kino Lorber's site. They have a while supplies last sale on their classics, found a nice double feature of Thunderbirds Go and Thunderbirds 6. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I think I have at least a couple of things from Kino Lorber. In fact, I think I think it's volume 1 or volume 2 of a collection of various shorts done by Buster Keaton. And I want to say Kino Lorber is the one that did that one. And actually, they did a great job. And I love it because the set actually has on, I found this out when I was digitizing it, they have all their episodes with the original film grain and everything. And then they have one episode set aside on each disc to say, we believe in preserving the original vision and obviously in preserving the original film itself without tainting it with, post-correction and, all the different filters you can put on a film to make it look less grainy. But they say, but here is what it could look like with those things. And so I like how they say clearly, we don't like this, we don't want to do it. But then at the same time, they say, but here's the process and here's what it could potentially look like. And just for the sake of showing you the differences between one that's been corrected and the one that hasn't been corrected is really cool. So yeah, I have that one set from Kino. But interesting. Yeah, I don't know what else I would actually want from them because I don't really know what they have. Bruce says, gender studies is the unwanted stepkid of liberal arts degree. And you turn things so we see the wall to your right. And you turn things so we see the wall to your right. I can do that since I have this webcam, it's movable. So see all the boxes. Yeah, so that's one direction. And of course, here's the desk. And then here's the other direction. Here's that window I said that there's a driveway up there. So I'm basically underground technically. And there's the light. So a quick trip around the room. Hopefully you all enjoyed that and didn't get sick. Gigavis Prime, would Olivia Wilde make a good Mira in Aquaman 2? She, in my opinion, looks more like Mira from the Aquaman comics, has the right face, and can bring a maternal quality. Well, I don't really know a whole lot about the original comics because I'm not much of a comics person. That being said, I do like her as an actress, so, I say sure. Why not? Is what I would say to that. If Amber Heard got fired from her job because of assaulting someone, I think that they would be totally justifiable in that. Nana Reaper says, Skype confessional, that is something that could never happen. unless you were like, not necessarily Skype, but there is a way where you could potentially be on the phone with a priest as long as it's only being used as a voice amplifier, which means you would still need to be within, distance, like whether that's 6 feet, social distancing or not. You could actually still do that. But there has to be that physical presence there because the sacrament of reconciliation, a major aspect to it is that physical connection and the words, the words being spoken to you directly in the presence of the priest. And so Skype confessional is actually something that could never be allowed. What I meant is more so drive-in masses where you don't receive the Eucharist, but you can still bear witness to the sacrifice of the Mass. Things like that. The parking lot masses that they did that where people would be in their cars, stay in there, and then they would be able to hear it on like a loudspeaker, or et cetera. So as I said, there's been a lot of innovations that have been done. I just feel like most of the innovations are being done by Protestant denominations and not by Catholics. And if you look into the whole point of Catholicism, you would think, yeah, we should probably be the ones stepping it up and not other denominations instead. HyperX13 says, random question. Between these two introductions of world building, which is your favorite? The wedding scene in Godfather Part 1 or the Shire in the Fellowship of the Ring? Those are both great. It's impossible for me to answer because they're such different movies. But those are, I would say, two of the best intros to world building, no question. Then it's Slay, what's your go-to guilty pleasure movie? It's always The Room with Tommy Wiseau. It's such a bad movie, but it is so freaking funny. And there's one movie I've only seen once so far, and I need to buy it because I have to own it. It has to be in my collection, and that is a movie starring John Travolta. It's called The Fanatic, and it's fantastic. It's this decade's The Room, is how I always describe it. Father says, I aim to take over countries when I play Civilization. Okay, Father. Mother Russia. All right, the chat jumped on me over there like it always does. So thank y'all for being a very active group tonight. I know that we're a little bit smaller because obviously World Class has an amazing sequence of events going on their channel tonight. An amazing guest over there, and I'm imagining that it's probably pretty damn awesome. All right, but thank y'all very much for your support. I really do appreciate it. All right. Lord Almighty, this is such a small window. It's so hard to to follow everything. All right, Alex McCarthy, Pandemic War starring Russell Crowe, Gerard Butler, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Sylvester Stallone coming to a theater near you summer 2022. I wish. Yes, you do wish, for sure. Father says, spam, 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 lovely spam, wonderful spam. Geekimus Prime, can you trust actors? They lie for a living like lawyers and politicians. Yeah, it's a very good point. Not many. There's not many that you could actually trust. Tina says, ooh, that's rough, but I'd say The Wedding. Okay, so she's talking about what has a better world building. So she says The Wedding at the beginning of Godfather Part 1. She says the setup of the funeral director coming to ask for the favor from Vito on the day of his daughter's wedding is wonderful. Yeah, I agree for sure, but man, that opening scene, that opening sequence to Lord of the Rings is also just so damn good. Bruce says, fall behind 10 to 20, more like 20 to 30. Tonight, it probably is 20 to 30. And the fact that we're doing that with 40 people is pretty amazing. Gigamus Prime, should Trey Parker, Matt Stone do a live-action musical version, Fighting Around the World, starring Russell Crowe, as a fictionalized version of himself? Yes, I would love that. Bruce says, da burbs, more like da bomb in a good way. Yeah, it's so good. Fantastic. Gigamus Prime, make sure your neighbor isn't Samuel L. Jackson. He was a scary cop in that movie with Patrick Wilson and Kerry Washington. Yeah, actually, the house next to us recently got off market, so we're going to get some new neighbors as well, so that should be interesting. Bruce says, Black Panther is a good, enjoyable movie, and a B or B plus for it sounds about right. Yeah, as I said, it's mediocre at best. Let us see. Nathan Slay, studio makes a woke movie fails. Studio, our woke movie failed. That means it wasn't woke enough. Let's make the next movie even more woke. And then when it doesn't even register on the map, what did we do wrong? Nitrium, 100% agree with your take on Black Panther, although I don't love any of the MCU films. Far too formulaic and very dumbed down. The highest rating I would give to any of the MCU films is a 6 out of 10. I would disagree, especially when you look back to that original Iron Man film. It's a very well-made movie. Like, in so many ways, it's such a well-made film. And I still hold that Avengers Infinity War is a great film. Gigamus Prime, check your walls and bookshelves in your new house to make sure there isn't a previous resident living there still. Scary stuff. Yeah, let's hope not. Jay Stowe says, was wondering the way that space you're in looks if we will get a private screening now. So hopefully you enjoyed that showing. Gigamus Prime, someone in the chat, please send Odin the complete reboot series for him to watch to change his mind about it, about reboots animation. Gigamus Prime, if you're the one recommending it, why don't you do it, man? You have my P.O. box. It's in the description of the video. My Valks have been talking about it, I'm sure. Apollo Patriot, I thought I was the only Greek god. Tina says, and make sure there's not a secret room somewhere behind some shelves in the basement. If the former housekeeper shows up, be on your guard. That's a reference, of course, to a film that Tina loves. She might act like she hates it, but I know that deep down she loves that movie. She didn't rant against it the other day at all. Mir Jeremy, it seems Kim Jong-un is dead in some sort of vegetative state. 2020 is crazy. Yep, and I still don't believe it. I still don't believe anything. Now it is actually being reported by Japanese media, so I do trust Japanese media over Korea or China, but still... Tina says, CinemaSins and Joker. They didn't like the actress who played his mom because they said she was on 6 feet under and they hate the show. EFAB was like, what the hell? Yeah, that's not a good enough reason. As I said before, I think they do that with all movies, both good and bad. And I think that they go after good films for the lulls and they just come up with random stuff. Going to Hobbit says, John Shill of the Year Campia gets owned by his co-host when debating Star Wars female-centric series. Yes, he does. And shout out to Drunk 3PO because he got that video. It went viral. And John Campia looks terrible. In fact, the video that people started to dislike because of just how bad of a take he had, he turned off the likes and dislikes. Yeah, it's pretty great. Jay Stowe says, you can see a bit of the progression of CGI in Beast Wars for sure during its run too. I don't think I saw the entire series of Beast Wars. But I definitely saw a lot of it when I was younger. Father Christopher Miller says, context for BPV? I call BS. I typed in what you said and then my comment on it. What? Father, you gotta... I'm going to stop reading your comments, Father. Until you learn how to context, that's how I should punish you. All right, let me jump over into the DLAV chat. What's going on? One of you had just a really great take, so I'm going to have to jump on that in a minute. Let's see. Phonemo says, green screen of Raylo incoming? Hell to the no. Captain Dean Heiss says, green screen? Then you could be in Jeremy's pool house. Yes, that is a possibility. I could also find a way. Actually, I probably couldn't. Well, maybe. I don't think I have a picture of my old background, but theoretically, if I wanted to, I could somehow find a way to get the old... to get the old background, and then it looks like I just never left. Cam Peabody says, I think you need some shells behind you with your Vegemite on one of them. Nope, that Vegemite, no. And no, I do not love it. How dare you? How dare you lie and tarnish my name? Phonemo says, VR confession. No, Phonemo, bad. Captain Peabody says, how are you gonna fit Willow's chair? Yeah, the only bad thing about this room and this setup is that you're not going to be able to see the dogs behind me because there's no way that... I don't think I'm going to be able to fit that chair in here at all, actually. I think we're going to put that into the living area, the living room down here instead. So yeah, as I said, this is a much smaller room than the one that I'm coming from. So once everything's set up, and if I'm able to do that, that'd be great. That's why I think at some point, since I know the pups will be in here at various times, I'm sure we'll set up some beds for them or something. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sure we'll set up some beds for them on the floor. I want to have another camera set up on them so that way I can go to the puppy cam every now and then. But there's no webcams available right now because they've all been bought by various teachers who are at home learning, etc. So yeah, it's crazy times that we live in. Let's just see. Captain Dean High says, Winter Soldier was also a terrific movie. Yes, and so that was what I wanted to say. So first, Iron Man film, fantastic. Infinity War is a great film. And Captain America, Winter Soldier, might be one of the best MCU films of all time. And that's why it makes me so pissed off that Endgame sucked, because the Russos were on such a good run, because they did Winter Soldier, they did Infinity War. I believe they even did Civil War as well, and all of them were great. Winter Soldier, I think, is the best film that they did. I would, in many brackets, Winter Soldier even would beat out, I would say, Infinity War, to be honest. I just love the themes of that movie. Phonema says, no doggos, why would we watch the stream? That's a good point. Very sorry indeed. But yeah, that's why, as I said, I will try and make up for it by investing in a second camera that will be pointed at them at all times when they're in here. So that way we can cut to the puppy cam. But that's something that I'll have to do once there actually are webcams available again. Cat Peabody says, no Willow chair. We're going to have to knock down some walls. Yeah, pretty much. That's the only way that you'd be able to get that to work. There is actually a fair amount of space in this closet. But that would be the only way that you could be able to work it out. But sadly, yeah, no Willow chair. Sadly. All right, let me jump back over into the YouTube chat. Gigamus Prime says, want to know something funny about Beast Wars is that in Canada, because of censorship, the show was instead called Beasties. War can't be... Beasties. War can't be in the title in a Canadian show. Wow, that's terrible. Hybrid X13, I know you aren't a huge fan of Transformers franchise, but do you have a favorite character? Autobot, Decepticon, etc. Mine was Jazz, but he got ripped in half by Megatron. Yeah, again, I can't really think of any from the live action films. I've never seen the animated one. I was never into Transformers animated series, so that whole world of Transformers is actually well beyond my reach. So I really can't say that I have a favorite one from those awful Michael Bay movies. Gosh, those are so bad. Bruce says, repaint. That would mean work involving a skill I do not have. Exactly. Bruce, you took the words out of my mouth, man. Let's see. Tina says, if Odin misses your comment, yeah, I'm about 20 minutes behind, according to Tina. I'm probably about 30 minutes behind now. But if you have a comment or question, type Odin question. I have this little ticker down here for a reason. It's not just to say donate via Streamlabs, though you should, because it's how we keep the lights on here. But if you don't want to do that and you just want to have a comment read aloud, then type Odin question. You'll see it'll pop up on here. But if you really care, if it's that important that you need your question read immediately, you don't want to wait, there is a way. Super chat or donating via Streamlabs. I do read comments that are given, and you don't have to pay for your comments to be read. However, if you want it to be read soon and quick and fast, that's the only way. Apollo Patriot says, have you seen the movie Enemy at the Gates? Yes. Just recently, finally saw Enemy at the Gates, thanks to Bruce sending it over. And overall, I liked it. My biggest issue with it was that no one had accents that were proper to what they were supposed to be. Let's see. Nathan Slay, call me crazy, but I enjoy Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 more than Spider-Verse. If you mean the animated Into the Spider-Verse, yeah, I can see that. The animation style of Spider-Verse bothers me. And I don't mean the actual images. The way images move in that movie is terrible. Like it's almost like that stop motion. It just doesn't look good. It does not come across very well. So I would agree with you, Nathan. HyperNex13, on context for Train to Busan, it's a decent zombie flick. The story mostly takes place in a train with zombies running after people. Characters are memorable too. Interesting. Cool. Apollo Patriot, as Orange Hat says, I'm blind. Sorry. Apollo Patriot, if you like CG comic book movies, you should check out on YouTube Vinyart and White Cat Comics and Red Gaze. Vinyart is going to make a new comic book. Interesting. Let us see. All right. Chat jumped on me as it always does. But let us see here. Oh man, so many comments. I feel like I'm so far behind tonight. Oh man. All right, I'm back. Gigamus Prime, Olivia Wilde bringing a maternal quality to Mira is needed because in Aquaman comics, Mira becomes the mother of Aquaman's son, and Olivia, being a mom, can bring that quality out. Well, I mean, I think that people that are not moms can act and come across in the same way too, but I feel like it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're just going to try and gloss over Amber Heard, which is the Hollywood thing to do, because you always give a pass to your feminist leaders. You can never go after them. Selection Neon says, am I bragging or admitting insanity when I say I watched 200 of 800 YouTube in my watch later folder this week? You know what, man? With everything going on, that sounds reasonable. I cannot tell you how many hours of YouTube I watch on a daily basis because there's some good stuff there, man. Cupcake Geek says, congratulations on the new house. Thank you very much, Cupcake Geek. I appreciate that. Tina says, Mead was loving all over your Fanatic movie. I was laughing when I heard them do that. I immediately thought of you. I mean, it's a great film. It is so bad, and it is so funny. Glinzer, this random statement has no legs, so it won't jump on you. Nitrium, who's a member, says, the best guilty pleasure film for me is Wild Things with Kevin Bacon, Nev Campbell, Matt Dillon, and Denise Richards. I've actually never seen that before. Bruce, I did buy The Fanatic thanks to you speaking so highly of it. I'm waiting for the right time to watch it. Oh yeah, please. Like, have that be a special night. Watch it and embrace the insanity. You give us Prime. I want Tommy Wiseau to call out the Hollywood elites and give Brie Larson a few words. Yes, I agree. And he tweeted out the other day saying, should I go on Joe Rogan's podcast? And overwhelmingly people said yes. So if somehow that happens, dear Lord, I hope Joe Rogan asks him about politics, because I would love to hear, if anyone would have an interesting opinion on the current state of politics, it would be Tommy Wiseau. Dear Lord. Robert Frey, is your house a new build? It is not. So it's like a 1930s original that was redone completely in 2013, all up to standard code. From what we know, the foundation is original and some wood in the attic is original, but there's a lot of new lumber up there too. So yeah, it's basic framing is old school with a lot of new school added to it as well. Give us Prime. Are the actors that walk away from Hollywood and acting and fame the good people that are actors? I would say in most likely scenarios, yeah, they would tend to be, for sure. All right, let me jump back over into the D-Lab fam. Captain, let's see. Phonemo says, I never understood the appeal of Civil War. It's out of the films that they made, I would definitely put Winter Soldier and Infinity War well above Civil War. And all of those films are so much better than Endgame. Endgame was terrible. But I think the appeal of Civil War is that you have so many characters in it. It's essentially a mini Avengers film. And also, it's the first film to feature Spider-Man in the MCU. So I think that alone makes that film have a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Phoneyman then says, though I did also hate the comic event it was based on. Well, there you go. Baku001, welcome to the channel. Says hello and good night. Cam Peabody says, painting is easy. Do it like Mr. Bean. Place paint can in the middle of the room and then blow it up. Instant paint job. Yeah, if only I had that type of patience. JDM Mustafa, what's going on? Captain Peabody says, may not have as many people as usual, but you got all the chatty ones. Yes, I do. You're right. I'll probably have to skip some chats tonight, to be honest. Cam Dean High says, saying only a mom can play a mom properly is like saying only a gay character can play a gay character. Yep. And again, that's, a gay actor can play like gay character. Yeah, right. I mean, as I said, you do not have to be of a certain background to be able to play a certain role. So you do not have to be a mother in order to play a good motherly role. Phonemo says, Tommy Wiseau involved as a director in any Disney property is the only way they will get my money again. Oh, if they somehow get Tommy Wiseau to direct an MCU film, I will give them all my money. Absolutely, I will. Father Christopher Miller says, did not get the spam reference. He must not seen that Monty Python, but doubtful, as spam always plays a big part in Monty Python. I understand spam. However, Your comments never have any context. So how am I supposed to get any of your references? Father, you gotta start providing context or you're gonna have a bad time. Nathan Slay says, Captain America, The Winter Soldier might be my favorite MCU movie, actually. That is a well-made movie. It is such a great film. And I've seen Spamalot on Broadway, so... Captain Wingster, the troll, says, OMG, that wall color is terrible. Well, sorry. Going to Hobbit. A good movie to watch about never get too close to the neighbors is Rosemary's Baby. I've actually never seen it. Gigavis Prime, if your future children wanted to become Hollywood actors, would you try to talk them out of it or let them? I would try and talk them out of it, but I mean, if that's what they're going to want to do, if they're, older and in college and that's the career they're pursuing, as an adult, that's their decision. Tina says, of course, I'd never rant on Parasite. It was one of my favorite movies of 2019. Joking. We know how you really feel. Orange Hat Reviews. Did you ever see the movie A Civil Action with Travolta? No. He says it was based on a true story of kids who died from toxic dumping that gave them cancer, based on the novel of the same name. Interesting. Wouldn't think that he would be in a movie like that. Jay Stowe, will have to really think about getting some Buster Keaton, really like ones like Chaplin and the Stooges with their physical comedy. I love the Stooges, yes. Soul Assassin, Beast Wars is good, worth a rewatch. Do they have the originals on Netflix or just, or rather is reboot, obviously they rebooted on Netflix. Did Beast Wars also get a reboot as well? Do they have the originals in addition to everything? Father says, context yet again about BPV. I have no clue what it was about. Bruce, Father, just remember, as a member, I read your comments without... So one of the perks of being a $1 member on the channel is that you don't have to put Odin question for me to read your comments. The only ones I skip are when someone else is tagged in it at the very beginning or even in the end. So you just have random comments that have no one tagged in it, which makes me assume that you're trying to take advantage of the fact that I read your comments without you having to tag me in it. So are you saying that you just need me to skip your comments unless you tag me? But that defeats the purpose because it's one of the perks. Again, Father, come on, help me out. Bruce says, sorry, I think this got skipped. Are you unable to turn your video setup so the wall to your right is behind you? Just asking. So basically, for all the things that need to fit in this room, this was the best direction. Because if I was on this wall with the window behind me, I wouldn't have a place to put my, what's it called? My APC. So my power, my giant battery that keeps everything running. And if there's a power outage or power surge, it protects all my equipment. Very important for me to have it. Can't have it on the ground. Deals with the circulation. I have this nice little outcrop that I can place it on. That's perfect. So basically, the only place I can have it is either here or against the wall to my right, which would be in this direction. I know that might be weird, but this would be, and that's where originally I wanted to have everything. The problem is once it's there, getting everything to fit and to work well goes out the window. Now, once all my stuff's in here and I realize I maybe have more space than I thought, maybe I can think about spacing things. But as I said, I would much rather have this set up and then just play with a green screen behind me. And that way you don't have to ever worry about seeing all this stuff. But it's amazing how many people are getting so disturbed and bothered by my background. Or maybe it's just Bruce. I don't know. Is it really bothering you that much, man? Let's see. Slicer Neon says, John Cynthia always looks terrible, but man, Jay blows him out of the water as a real man. Well, he is the most handsome man on YouTube, so. Gigamus Prime, I would send you the complete reboot series, but I'm currently unemployed and don't have much money to buy the $70 series for you. Well, then don't tell other people to buy stuff, because guess what? A lot of people here are in the same position that you are, man. Greta Zender says, bottom of the screen, puppy cam. Yes. I don't know if I would have it on all the time. I see what you mean, like having it as a live feed. I think I'd rather have it be something that I cut to. I would rather it be that. But it is definitely something that I will have. Laura Story says, gotta run. Thanks for the fun screen. Hopefully you had fun, Laura. Appreciate it. Greta says, right after I posted about the puppy cam, you said it. Boom. There we go. And no, I didn't see your comment because I'm about 20 to 30 minutes behind. Super Anime Gamer is late, but glad that you're here. Hypernex13, I heard that even if, let's say, Kim Jong-un dies, his sister would probably take over. Would it really change anything? I don't know. I'm just grateful being here in America. Yeah, you know what? It probably wouldn't. Many people say that she's a tyrant in waiting. And until the people of that country rise up and demand democracy or a republic or some type of system that they can actually vote on and have a say in, it's not going to get better. Bruce, I think you need to claim a bigger room for your studio office. If Frey objects, invoke eminent domain. No, this is actually, out of all the rooms in the house, this is the one that I actually would want. As far as the position of the room, everything about it. Again, the size is not very big, but none of the other rooms are going to be any bigger than this. The only other alternative I could have is to be out in the main room, but that would not be a good place for the office because there's going to be a lot of other stuff out there in general. So I'd rather have my own space. And again, it's not as large, but I'm okay with that. Apollo Patriot, will you buy a half wolf dog? I have two. And 2 is more than enough. Now, if I had it my way, I'd have 1,000 dogs, but the wife will not allow it. Let us see here. All right, chat jumped on me like it always does. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, man, oh, man. I'm so far behind. It's ridiculous. So ridiculous. Is this still only with 40 people? That's insane. Calm down, guys. we got about 12 minutes left, so start to calm down maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit. Gigamus Prime, what was the first Transformers show you ever saw? Mine was Beasties, and I had no idea it was connected to Transformers. I had no idea Beast Wars was connected to Transformers either. Is that true? I had no idea. Let me jump over to DLive real quick since it's not going to be as hard to catch up over there. Let us see. Captain Dean. I got that one already. Phonemo says, a civil action is a damn good movie. Oh, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Nathan Slay says, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers 1, Ragnarok are really good to me because they're so much fun. Ooh, Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say, is very fun. Ben Gorman DC is the Odin intro only for Geeks and Gamers. It's awesome. Should be on all videos. It is the special intro for my Geeks and Gamers videos. So yeah, I don't do it on all of my videos. I don't know if I would have the capacity to do it every single day. With the Geeks and Gamers ones, it's usually once a week. So I can handle that. Father Chris Miller says, okay, so my mind is blown as I just learned that Dolly Parton was a secret producer of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What? I had no idea. That is crazy. Growing to Hobbit. CMX theaters may never reopen after the lockdown because CMX files for Chapter 11. Where is CMX theaters? I've never heard of that before. Gigamus Prime. Do an impression of Tommy Wiseau as a Transformer. He is Weezotron and transforms into a bike. I'm a Transformer. Oh, hi, everybody. Mayor Jeremy, Civil War should have just been called Avengers Light or Avengers 2.5. Yep. Super Anime Gamer, Civil War was my first clue I was getting tired of the MCU. It was the first time my friend invited me to a movie, and I tried convincing him to see something else. Did nothing for me. I can understand that. Gigamus Prime, did you know there is a Transformers Avengers comic crossover from the early 2000s? No, I did not. Hypernex13, speaking of Mr. Bean, remember that part in the Mr. Bean movie where Willem Dafoe played some director character in the movie, and the movie only had nothing quotes? No, I don't think I've ever seen the Mr. Bean movies. I've seen clips. Jay Stowe says, Wiseau should do a Deadpool movie. That would be insane. That would be completely insane. Gigamus Prime, get Tommy Wiseau to fire Kathleen Kennedy. Tommy Wiseau, Kathleen, you're breaking Star Wars alive. I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel. Sasha Neons, I heard Travolta got the virus. False alarm. Just a case of Saturday Night Fever. I see what you did there. Mir Jeremy, have you ever got around to watch Avatar Last Airbender? If not, it's coming to Netflix in May. Well, boom, I will finally have time to watch it then. Ben V, did you see when Aaron Cummings said she didn't like female-centric Star Wars right after John Campea called those that didn't like it man babies? It was glorious common sense for the win. Yes. Yes, I did. And it was awesome. Super. For my film history class, just saw Chaplin's Modern Times and Buster Keaton's The General, both so good. Buster Keaton was a magician in his old shorts. Hybrid Next 13. In my opinion, the opening scene of Bumblebee should have been the whole movie. Another movie like Kong Skull Island, where the opening scene had interesting potential, and as a whole, meh. Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I feel like I go crazy every time I mention the fact I did not like Bumblebee. I think Bumblebee was a terribly written movie. And when you look into the fact that the woman that wrote that movie had a bad track record prior to it and has since written Birds of Prey, I'm sorry, but to say it's a good movie is problematic. Now, if you're going to argue the designs of the Transformers are great, okay, you can enjoy that. Doesn't make it a good movie. You can say the CG is so good, okay, doesn't make it a good movie. You need to have a good story, and it don't have a good story, especially those lines. Cupcake Geek, whoa, hola, which PC do you use? So right now I'm using an Alienware, I think it's the M17. It's the 17-inch variant with I think it's a 1070 graphics card, a i7, Core i7 8th gen CPU, and a terabyte hard drive, a 256 SSD in there also, 16 gigs of RAM. So that's what I'm using right now. My regular PC is a 1070 Ti graphics card, a Core i7 9700K, I think I got. That's the overclocked variant from a while back, or is either the 8700K or the 90. I think it's the 80. Actually, no, it's the 8th gen, 8700K. 32 gigs of RAM in that PC, and 256 or 128 SSD, M.2 SSD, and a 1 terabyte hard drive as well. So hopefully I got all my specs out there for you. As everyone in the chat who is not tech savvy is like, what the hell did he just say? Alice Regard, the green screen background of the Hounds live. Ooh, now that could be fun. Bruce says, it's just me. I have no idea why, but your closet have now become the bane of my existence. Green screen would cure my ill. Okay. Let me see. Hopefully this fixes it. All right. Is that better? Now that there's not a gap on one side of me? Are you still getting triggered by this? Gigamus Prime, did you collect any Beast Wars toys when you were a kid? If I did, I cannot remember. Alrighty. Let us see. All right, good. Y'all are slowing down. Ben V, your background is great. People are going to complain, but here you are giving us a great show. You do what's best for you and keep up the great work. Ben V, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And as I said, the background will change variably because the camera will be a little bit higher, and will, obviously depth perception will change a little bit too. But also, I do plan to have full use of the green screen that I have. Because it was someone bought it as a present for me to use with the channel, and I've not been using it, and now I have an opportunity to start using it. So, Zine Waters, 1,000 dogs, your house would reek. Yes, it would. Obviously, I was being fishy. Sorry. Hyperbolic is the word I was looking for there. Obviously, I was being hyperbolic. Glinzer says 40 IC62. Wow, it bumped up to 62. Smash that like button, please. Thank y'all for joining us. Let's see. 70B says, heck no. You calm up, Chief. I love you, Steph. You're awesome. Nathan Slay, as much as I love the MCU, I do agree with you that the most MCU movies, not all feel pretty generic and don't like taking risks. They also love using disposable CGI armies. Yes. I would agree with the general statement that a lot of the MCU is not good as far as like being a good, solid film by itself, but needs to exist in this broader universe in order to have any relevancy. And are generic films that don't take risks, as you said. That's why I like films like Guardians, because it took a lot of risks. That's why I like a movie like Winter Soldier, because it actually had a theme to it and wasn't a generic film. It was actually like a spy thriller almost, and it was fun. Mirror Jeremy, are you a fan of Wes Anderson? I like a lot of his movies. Not all of them, but I do like a lot of them. J-Sto, Beast Wars wasn't supposed to be connected to the original, but with the references and some fan service, they decided to connect it to the original. Okay, so it's by the same company then, I'm assuming. And that's how they are connected, and eventually they became strongly connected. Going to Hobbit, CMX is a high-end premium nationwide U.S. movie chain, 14 theaters total. Wow, yeah. I've never heard of them before. So 14 theaters and they're going out of business? I can't imagine they were doing well before the shutdown, if that's the case. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's see. Paula Patriot, green screen of Dave Filoni. Yeah, let's have Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy up there. That will make everyone happy. Zine Waters, I'm not sure if someone has mentioned Kim. Yes, they did. We talked about that already. Let's see. Bruce says, you need to close it all the way. There is still a small gap. It's just because the track isn't completely set, but that's okay, Bruce. I'm going to leave it like that just to drive you crazy. Deal with it, Bruce. Get over it. It's okay. You will survive. Everything will be fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine here. Gigamus Prime, what happens if Megatron becomes real and takes over North Korea? Would the people there be better off under a robot overlord? Probably. And then Nathan Slade says, don't get me wrong, I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Don't get me wrong. He says, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, Infinity War, Winter Soldier, Iron Man are great because I feel like they took risks. No, I think you're right. That's what I just said. Let's see. Super Anime Gamer, green screen, a frame from one of your favorite movies every stream. Ooh, that's a good one too. Tina Bojan says, when did we all become interior designers? It's Bruce, man. Bruce is the one that's like, driven crazy I am. I'm going to have a picture of this, and it's always going to be in different states of not being fully closed. And every stream, it's just going to be that. It's going to be a door that's not completely closed. It's going to be a closet that has a crack. It's going to be oh man, that's what I'm going to do. Just to drive Bruce crazy. All right, let me jump over to D-Live to finish up. Captain Dean High says, if Kim Jong-un dies and his sister takes over, headline, North Korea gets woke. Captain Adam, the latest episode of Clone Wars is really good. I actually haven't seen it yet, so I probably will watch that before going to bed tonight. Captain Mr. Peabody says, Bumblebee was a lot better than Glass. They were both disappointing in different ways. I will agree that Glass is not as good as it could have been. I love Split from 2017. That film is great. Glass could have been amazing, and I think they dropped the ball. Emmer, what's going on? Thanks for following on D-Live. Captain Adam in the Clan, looking good, buddy. Well, thank you. Appreciate that very much. Captain Mr. Peabody, Odin socially isolated his weight. He trimmed down. I did not trim down. I have definitely been gaining weight since the lockdown. Phonemo, no doggos, and a gap in the mirror door thingy. What is this craziness? I appreciate your sarcasm, Phonemo. And Captain Peabody says, Odin's workout video, moving house. Yeah, I probably will lose a couple pounds after the move, but for now, I'm okay. J-Sto says, the Babadook is behind the door. No! The Babadook is so creepy. All right, Super says, also speaking of favorite movies, have you seen The Boy and the Beast? I own it, have not seen it yet. Rewatched it the other day, love it, and one of the best Blu-ray releases too. I digitized it, so I have it. It's on my Plex server, so hopefully I get to watch it one day. And then Captain Adam in the Clan says, you look like you slimmed down. Well, thank you, man. I don't think I have. I think I've been gaining some weight, but that's okay. All right, we're at an hour and 31 minutes. We just got to the end of the stream. Thank you all for being here. I found out as I was setting up everything that the video of the April Patreons is actually attached to my Streamlabs. I don't know how to download it so that I can have it on my computer. I just know that I have access to it here. So it bothers me how asymmetrical your room is. Get over it, Super. Bruce, but seriously, your idea of the green screen and changing the image from time to time sounds great. That's my plan. Hopefully it works. Soul Assassin, if you have a truck, you're automatically the coolest person when moving. Fact, that's true. I don't. I have a small car. Gigamus Prime, one Transformers movie from the point of view of the robots and The Rock as Optimus Prime and Mads Mikkelsen as Megatron. That could be cool. All right, but seriously, I do have to go. So thank you all for your comments. Captain Adam and the clan, thank you for donating the 8 lemons. You're awesome, man. Thank you so much for your amazing support. My DLAF fam, I'm going to take care of y'all like I normally do. But the April video did have some names missing. So just to make sure everyone gets shouted out, Tina Bojan, thank you so much for becoming a new Patreon supporter. Shout out to Laura Story for also becoming a Patreon supporter at the $25 level. So thank you very much for that, Laura. That means that she will be featured on next month's Chosen of Valhalla live stream. So very exciting about that. And no more questions, Zion. No, none. Super hope you have a good night as well. And I think that was it. I think I do have one person that updated their name though. So let me just make sure in case for any reason, I didn't have him on the April video yet. John B over on Subscribestar. Thank you so very much, man, for becoming a Subscribestar member back on the 15th. So about 10 days ago. So thank you. Bruce, have a good night, man. I hope you have nightmares about this right here. I hope that's your nightmare, man. Thank you all so much for putting up with me tonight. I'm glad that the video the audio sounded okay. Sorry if there was a disconnect between the audio and video. As I said, it likely has to do with the fact that I'm using a laptop and I'm still using the same number of equipment and tabs and all that stuff. You know, this PC, this laptop is very good. Again, it has some high-end specs to be able to handle a lot of this stuff. I'm sure there's some settings that probably are off, and that might be the reason why. And yeah, it's nightmare fuel, Bruce. Bruce, I hope that it is. But yeah, next stream on Tuesday should be on. We'll probably maybe have some different views behind me. I might have the green screen set up by then. I'll definitely have my furniture and shelves in here. And maybe I'll have the regular PC up and running. But as I said, I'm waiting for the Wi-Fi card because I need to be able to access the internet on it, which I currently cannot because of where the router is. Also just bought a new case fan as well. That way I could take advantage of one of the filters I have, which cannot fit using the smaller fan. But if you like tech, go ahead and message me on the Discord or on the Twitter if you have some thoughts about pimping out the PC in any ways. So once again, shout out to you, JJ. Thanks for helping me out, man, with everything. You guys are awesome. You all stay classy and amazing. As I said, shout out the people that I have not added to this video yet. I will try and get a new video out as soon as I possibly can. You guys are all amazing, beautiful people. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to my April Patreon and Subscribestar members. We have animation commentator Brian P, Dion, Divex, Elizabeth M, Enrique Evangelista, Father of Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunker Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B. And to my Subscribestar members, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. And out of step with reality, and Albertus Magnus and JJB Net. I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank spot just previously in case any more people decide to become a Patreon or Subscribestar member over the next few days. Just remember that as soon as you sign up, you are immediately eligible for any of the benefits. If you just sign up at the $1 tier on Subscribestar or Patreon, you get a shout out at the end of every single video, including my live streams. If you're a $5 or up backer on either platform, you get access to exclusive giveaways where I give away several 4K Blu-rays, digital copies every single month as well. If you jump up to the $10 tier on either platform, you get access to all of that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with my friend John the Flick Pick of John Flickinger and the Flick Pick fame. We do a bi-weekly podcast, so every 2 weeks or so we do one. So you get probably about 2 or 3 depending on what's going on, probably more so now with everything going on in the craziness of our world. But you do get access to that. Also, if you are at that $10 tier, it means that you get to take part in the Q&A part of that podcast. And so about 24 to 48 hours before the podcast, maybe even longer beforehand, I'll leave a post in the Patreon Subscribe Star. You'll be able to leave a comment on a question that you want us to answer, on a topic that you want us to cover in a future podcast as well. All of that you have access to. And if you're a $25 backer and up, you get all of those things. Plus, you get a t-shirt for your first month. That's right. You get a free t-shirt, high quality Odin's Movie Vlog t-shirt. So just make sure if you're at a $25 and up backer level, you leave your address. That way I know where to send that to. And also I will be messaging you to get your size information. That way I can send that out to you as quickly as possible. But you also get access to an exclusive Chosen of Valhalla live stream that we have once a month on this channel, where I invite you to be on the show. You can either show your face or not show your face, or hey, you don't have to show up at all. It's totally up to you. And we talk about a wide variety of things. We talk about movies that you've been watching, modern things going on, the pop culture, and pretty much anything that you yourself want to talk about. So if any of these things sound interesting to you and things that you'd want to do, please hit that Patreon Subscribe Star link in the description of this video and think about joining today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless.